Hey, what's up, everybody? It's DJ Remark, and I am with Jack Miller. He was the director of photography for What It Takes. And today we are going to be breaking down the short film What It Takes, both technically and, well, I guess that's the only way we're going to break it down since that's what we do. Jack is on Instagram and Facebook, you said, right?
Mm-hmm. Mostly Instagram, though. I would recommend you follow me on Instagram. Facebook, I just post random stuff that doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I'm about the same with Facebook. So anyway, all of his socials will be in the description. So please give him a follow. Little history about What It Takes. It was Bloodscribe Creations' second submission to the Cincinnati Fright Film Competition, which is actually where I met Jack. Mm-hmm. Was the first annual Fright Film Competition in Cincinnati, Ohio, back in 2019. Our films went up against each other for a number of different categories. And I just remember The Way of Water.
The Water Within.
The Water Within. The Water Within. I just remember watching that and just being like, yep, this deserves this. Yeah, this deserves that. And that was really good that I was able to do that, because me personally, when I go to a lot of these competitions and I go to film festivals and I see stuff, usually I have a problem with films that like get awarded for certain things. But I thought that everything that you guys won was deserved, besides Best Director. That's but anyway, so I hooked up with Jack and I said, hey man, I really like your work, and do you want to make a project? And so the rest is history. So anyway, so we teamed up for the next one, because I'm like, let's tag team this bitch. And so we made What It Takes. We shot this in about a weekend, and this was in 2020, right as the pandemic was ramping up. Yep. And so I remember when we were thinking about the script, Jason and I were like, well, what can we do that's, minimal cast, minimal crew, and we can shoot it maybe in a room, and, it's, we're not going to be doing a whole lot. And so we came up with the concept of What It Takes, which is pretty much a chamber film of two people, in a room talking, which sounds really boring, but thanks to Jack Miller and thanks to Jason Orr, we made a really cool film. And so today we're going to break that down. So, Jack, why don't you talk about, first off, as I present this screen, why don't you talk about the gear that you use to shoot this, your camera, your lenses, and why you chose that gear as I load this up?
Yeah. A lot of it at this time really depended on what we had access to and then what we could do with it, which, as we can see in the final product, turned out really well, I think. So we used the Blackmagic Pocket 6K, and our buddy John, mutual friend, brought down his
John Chabella.
Is
that how you say his last name? Chabella?
Sabella.
Oh, it's I always say Chabella.
But yeah, if it wasn't for him also supplying the lighting and a few other things, we probably wouldn't have been able to achieve what we were able to achieve here. But yeah, Blackmagic Pocket 6K, broken on, just your simple standard broken on lenses.
No, we don't know. This is for people who are wanting to learn how to make horror short films. We need to tell them everything.
Okay, well,
Blackmagic Pocket 6K.
This is the package you want then if you're really getting into it. Pocket 6K, broken on cine lenses, and we had some old-fashioned tungsten and HMI fixtures, going around everywhere. So this was the package if you wanted to go out and make a horror short film, or any short film for that matter. Cheap and easily accessible gear, but cheap, not cheap like bad, cheap as in like, okay, it's not that expensive, but the quality is like really amazing. Like, how's this happening? So that's what we had.
Cool. So this first scene, as we're watching it, and I'm just going to turn the audio down just a little bit. That's actually me driving the car. So that's my director's cameo right there.
His car too.
My car too. Yeah, that's my Kia. Yep. That's a temp license plate, so you can't dox me.
Yeah, I was talking to the DJ, like, yeah, we should probably get some establishing shots of the house here to really like sell what he's getting into. But yeah, here in the background, we just had it was an RE 1.2K HMI light. Again, you can find these on eBay for like $800, which might be really cheap depending on like what you're looking at. Like for this kind of output and power on a light, it's a really amazing deal. You can also
that's back here, right?
Yes.
That's like all the way back here in the driveway.
Yeah, pretty far. I mean, that was the only light we had too.
Yeah.
And look at the quality. But another thing you can notice here on the glass window of the door, it was raining this night. This was the first night we were shooting. It stopped raining by this point, but I do remember because of the rain, we were shooting kind of late into the night, but I think it worked out because we were able to get everything we needed at night, because I remember us starting and it was still light outside. So everything really worked out in the end, but the rain was interesting, and having to pivot certain things to make this movie work with the weather was definitely an interesting challenge that I'm sure everybody has dealt with at some point in time.
I honestly wish it was raining more.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I really do, because it actually reminds me of the scene in The Crow when he's coming out of his grave and it's raining, and it's like, I think rain, especially in something like this, you know, we don't exactly know what this guy's doing here, but it's late at night. He's getting dropped off. So you can assume that like maybe it's not his house. And we also hear knocking, right? So it's not his house. We see the establishing shots. If it's actually raining, I think that gives really more of an ominous look to what's going on, because at this point, it's like this guy's just vulnerable. He probably wants to get out of the rain. And I don't know. I really think that would have added a lot more.
Yeah. Well, we have some of it. And then flashlight.
So this
flashlight, by the way.
Yeah. So you used your flashlight to light this, and no other lights except for actually obviously.
Well, yeah, we had the HMI in the background, but that was it.
HMI is still back there. Yeah.
Yeah. There it is. I think in this sequence here, like in her close up and maybe his, we probably had like a bounce board or something to kind of wrap around the light a little bit. I think you can definitely see it in hers. If you want to go to that one. But yeah, this is, I think I was on a gimbal here in the background. You can see the plants kind of out of focus in the foreground. I really wanted it to make it look like he was being watched even before he got into the house. It looks kind of creepy to me. And then also it adds to the context, like, hey, I need your phone. Like, give it to me. It's awesome.
In here. Best not to keep them waiting.
Did I skip over her close up? There it is. Okay.
So yeah, if you look on the right side, you kind of get a little bit of light return coming back. So I think we had like a bounce board or something just to give her a little bit more exposure.
So if you want to get this shot, you need a tungsten, right? That's what it was?
HMI.
And you need an HMI about 200 feet away. Your DP's personal flashlight and a bounce card. So if you're taking notes, that's what you need for this shot.
Yeah.
Guess I won't be needing that much anymore, will I?
Oh, it's
all right, now we're inside. This is probably one of my more favorite shots in the movie. Just because, one, he's like coming inside for the first time and he's like, okay, what the hell am I getting myself into? I like our use of color here. Actually, I remember this conversation me and DJ had. I think it was this night, and he's like, yeah, this place isn't supposed to have power. I'm like, oh, okay. So I have to light things a little differently now. So we decided to add like, let's call them stylistic, like some flashes of like green and like I think we had red a couple of times as well, but we'll see later on. But we really wanted to play into a little bit of what's the word I'm looking for? Like psychological, like interpretation, like kind of like what he's going through here. Like green gives you a sense of like uneasiness and vulnerability in a way. So we, you know, that's just if you're doing like a deep philosophical look into it. But yeah, DJ was like, yeah, here's the challenge. We have to have exposure, have it look lit, but this place doesn't have power in the movie. So this is what we came up with.
So this scene doesn't get talked about as much as I wanted it to. This is, you know, if you haven't seen the short film, by the way, and you're watching this, stop now because we're getting into spoiler territory, and go watch it and then come back and watch this, please. So that's your warning. So stop now or pause it here, open up a new tab, go watch it, come back and play this. So, you know, so there it is. So now for the rest of you, this is one of the little Easter eggs. It's not necessarily, I guess, an Easter egg, but this is sort of a hint early on as to what is going on and who these characters are. And in vampire lore, one of the popular things is that they don't have a reflection. So I had to spend in this like 3-second clip where that happens right there, and we'll go back and we'll watch it again. So this right there, I had to mask out this window. We had to do this take twice. This is not him acting right now. These are two different takes. Mm-hmm. And I had to mask this mirror out so that Samantha's reflection didn't turn up when she was in the mirror.
Yep.
And sort of showing people, because when she's about here, you should be able to see her over his shoulder. Mm-hmm. And so that's supposed to give away that these people are, well, at least she is a vampire.
Yep.
So those that are into vampire lore would probably grab it. And I was really hoping that I was going to get a little more, like a few more comments on that. But, you know, people are they're probably just watching him do his thing and try to figure out what's going on. So it's no big deal. But
I mean, I love how serious he's taking this interview. Like, yeah, I better make sure that I'm looking good.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's yeah.
Well, we should talk about the trick line we had as well to hang the mirror up, because that also took a while.
Yes, let's talk about that. So how did we hang this mirror here, and why is there a mirror here just randomly on this wall?
Well, yeah, we obviously one of the things you have to deal with shooting on location is not tearing up the person's property. So I believe what it was, we couldn't nail into the wall or something.
Right.
So our key grip, Caleb, designed this like crazy rig where he had like a few loops of trick line from the top out of frame, just holding the mirror up. And it was, when I saw it, I was like, holy crap, this is actually going to work. And then on top of that, you have the masking you did to not see the reflection. It's just like, it's one of those things where people don't realize how long it takes to like just get one shot. And
yeah,
it's crazy, but it's great. This is why we do it.
It is. It's the magic of filmmaking.
Yep.
A reminder, this is an interview. You will be questioned for viability. You must answer truthfully. They will know if you do not. Trust me. The interview will last as long as it needs to.
I thought that was great. I thought him looking up and seeing like where this light is coming from was just excellent on him. And for those who don't know, that is Vincent Sarwatz. He's an excellent actor out of Cleveland, Ohio, and he plays our Vic Fordham. And he just gives such an incredible performance in this. And he won a few Best Actor awards in some smaller. Well, he won Best Actor in the Fright Film competition, and He won Best Actor in quite a few other smaller festivals that this went to, and deservedly so. He did a great job.
Oh yeah.
Samantha, our Danny here, actually won Best Supporting in another competition, which I guess she is a supporting character because she only shows up in this scene, but
Yep.
but she did very well. And she was also supposed to be a very like stereotypical like goth vampire type. That's so her character design was very intentional. You can't really see the costume that she's wearing, unfortunately. You could see it in the beginning, back here, sort of. She has on this she has this corset here, but she's such a tiny person that the very first time we tried to get her in this corset, it was too big. Which is like, that's not the stereotype when it comes to corsets. It's that they're always, they're all so tight, but like we tried to put this thing on her and it just didn't fit. But so that's why we didn't, I think we took it off actually. And I think we like tied something in the back here to actually get it on so that we can see it. And then afterwards we were just like, screw it. We're just going to shoot, we're just going to shoot from the chest up and just, it's fine. But anyway, she was supposed to be this, this very stereotypical kind of goth character.
You cannot
Whoops.
know if you do not.
Spoiler.
The interview will last as long as it needs to. If you wish to be considered, you cannot leave the room.
Oh, I remember
You
how.
can leave chair.
So go back to the hallway. I also remember how hard this shot was to get because we were just in such a tight, narrow hallway. But the idea was to kind of just follow the action in one shot. I think there was a couple reasons why we did it, but the point being is, when you're in such a tight, cramped space, you have to get obviously the camera operator, the camera. And then behind me, I believe, was Andrew, our sound mixer. And it was just, I remember us.
We weren't taking the 6 foot rule very seriously.
I forgot about that part.
While trying to get this shot.
I forgot about that part.
But I do remember. So I do remember, and I want to talk about this. So, this house is actually very centrally located. So on the left side of these people, this is the kitchen actually over here in this other room, just over here in the hallway. Yeah. And then back there is the living room. And I'm pretty sure you can see a C-stand right there. Now that I'm looking at it, maybe. No, that's a lamp. No, it's a lamp. It's a lamp. Huh. We're smart.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that, DJ.
We cleared it. It's okay. So anyway, and then on this side is a bedroom. And then as they're walking, there's other bedrooms. But anyway, it's very open. So we had a wireless monitor system. Do you remember what it was called that we used?
Well, we had Teradek to transmit it, but I don't remember what the actual monitor was. But it was in the kitchen, right? Yeah. So I was actually, so myself, the focus puller, and John were all back here, and Caleb were all back here. Mm-hmm. Nick Foster is right. So he was our focus puller. We're all in the kitchen. I have this, I'm looking at my monitor. You guys are in this hallway. And then I think somebody else was in the bathroom, or not the bathroom, but the bedroom doing something. Hair and makeup were in there.
Yeah. And I just remember I watched most of the filming of this from not the room that it was in. And it was very interesting to do that.
Yeah. What was that like for you?
I mean, I liked, so I liked and disliked it. I disliked it because I liked watching the action happening in front of me, and because I can look at different things. But I did like it because being able to look at that monitor, I could see what you were seeing. And if there was just something that I wasn't necessarily looking for as far as the look of the film, because you were also running the Blackmagic just LUT over all this, correct?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, which makes it a lot easier to see.
Yeah.
But, as far as shot design and everything like that, just in case I had any notes as far as that goes, it was easier to make those notes as I was watching the take off of that monitor than if I were just watching the action and then having to watch the take back and do that. So,
For sure.
So that's why I like that. But it was interesting being it like having to watch that in a different room where the action was taking place.
To be considered, you cannot leave the room. You cannot leave the chair.
I love that
You
shot.
must stay sitting the entire time, no matter what you hear, or see, or experience. If you leave the chair, you will fail.
So yeah, you can clearly see here with the camera shake that. All right, that's all the room left we had in the hallway.
Yeah. And trying to stabilize that shot was an exercise in futility. Trust me when I say that I spent a good amount of time trying to stabilize that, and it just was not happening. So, I'm not talking shit on you. It's just
Sure.
we did what we could with what we had. And,
Oh yeah.
Yep.
But I encourage people to do this too, for sure.
Oh yeah. And that also being said, I haven't had one person come up to me and be like, yeah, that shot where the camera went kind of like this in the hallway really took me out. Like, so
That's
thank
good.
God that hasn't happened. So what lens are you on in this shot actually?
We were on a 35, I'm pretty sure, on this. I imagine just because of how small the space was, we were on either a 35 or maybe even wider, just because we needed to get what we needed to get. I think it was a 35.
35.
Yeah.
I think that's my favorite focal length.
Oh, me too. I used it all the time.
I mean, if I had a choice of like, if I could only have one lens to shoot a film, what would I shoot it on? It's 35. I just give me a 35 and then I'm good. I'll figure out the rest.
You must stay sitting the entire time, no matter what you hear, or see, or experience. If you leave the chair, you will fail. If you leave the room, you will fail.
You will fail.
You are free to fail at any time.
Yes, I remember. But trust me, none of that will be the slightest problem. I don't know about anybody else that you've spoken with, but I was born for this.
They all say the same shit, bro.
All right. So yeah, now we're in
There's no one
the
here.
spot where we're at the rest of the movie. So yeah, DJ wasn't lying. Most of this movie is talking to each other, but it's just the way it's done is you guys will see.
You shortly, please.
So not this next shot, but one of these shots we're about to get. Want to talk about it?
Last minute advice?
Just be yourself.
I think she'll. All right.
So talk about how we lit this shot before we go into the next one.
So for those of you wondering, we actually shot this during the day, if you can believe that. So where this light is coming from on the right, you'll see I think we have a couple wides that we cut to, like the Dutch angles, but you can see the lights coming through like a small little space, which happens to be this tiny window. So this is what I liked about the script was there was a clear like idea of how they wanted this room to look. Just the words of like, there's a light coming from behind the vampire, makes her silhouetted so we see that there's a figure, but we don't see the figure's face. But then we have Vince here who's just blasted by that light. So it kind of makes him look like he is like under a spotlight, like he's being watched, which I think is amazing. But yeah, there's a picture here. There's a couple pictures actually I can probably dig up, but looking at this from outside, like if you're driving down the street, you'd be like, what the hell is going on here? Because there was the light, which was actually also a Leica 750, which is a tungsten light. Tungsten light is much warmer than HMI. So if you see these candles here, that's closer to what the color of a tungsten light would be. And then on the right is more of the color of what an HMI would be. So we had to get creative here. I changed the color temperature of the camera lower. And then I I think we blue gelled. I think we still blue gelled the Lico a little bit.
So did you go lower than 36K?
Yeah, I was 2,700 here.
Wow.
Yeah. So for those of you who don't know either, so tungsten is like 3,200, HMI is 5,600. Your camera compensates for that. So if you're at 5,600 white balance on your camera and you're shooting and you're using lights that are 5,600 Kelvin HMI lights, it'll actually appear as white. So it's compensating and balancing. So if you want to, it's counterintuitive. If you want to get a cooler look on camera, you decrease the color temperature. But if you want a warmer light, you decrease the color temperature. So I'm sure some people out there will be confused, but it's what we did and it worked. And I remember also we had to really finesse the shadow here on the right because I remember we had to reset this the next day and finish out the film. So we had to make it match. So talking to John, our gaffer, from outside, telling him, okay, hey, this is not what we want. This is what we want. Okay, perfect. We got it. That was a really fun treat in itself. Yeah. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Cool.
So the reason why the short film actually fades out and then waits a couple of seconds and then comes back in is because I lost some footage in the edit.
Oh, I didn't know that.
There was supposed to be a sort of a mini montage of him like waiting, looking around, growing impatient, looking for his phone and realizing that he gave it away and just kind of like chilling there, because that was like the very first test was like, is he a patient person? And I lost some footage, and so we didn't get to have that. So what we did was go straight to this shot, which is going to give you a more clear picture of how we lit it. So that light's coming over from a window up here,
Yep.
blasting him right there, and we get the shadow. And I remember when we talked, I wanted to have a few shots like this, and unfortunately we weren't able to get more just because of the time that we had to actually shoot this and the space that we had. So Resident Evil is one of my favorite games, and it's also one of the games that like was my very early introduction into horror. Even before I watched my first horror movie, I was watching people play Resident Evil, and I played a little bit of Resident Evil. And that game scared me so bad. Like I would stop playing because I didn't want to turn a corner. And the reason for that is because of the camera angles that they used. And so I wanted to use some of those angles in this short film to just kind of try to create that sense of fear and like disorientation almost, because we're kind of hiding what, is lurking beyond, behind the corner. We're at a little bit of a Dutch tilt here, and we're like at a weird angle, like in the corner of the room pointing down, it's not a very typical shot. And that's the reason why we did that. And I'm hoping to do more of that maybe in a later project, but this particular shot was, one of those experiments. And so there he goes. He goes for his phone. I managed to keep that in, but oh.
I must say, you're off to a good start.
And then we cut back and she's already there.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Hey, patience is something.
So yeah, this is pretty much how it was laid out in the script. So we wanted this light just shooting from behind her, silhouetted. We don't see who this character is, but we can hear them speaking, and we see the outline. So it's like he's talking to somebody, but who is it? And it definitely created a sense of uneasiness throughout the rest of the movie.
Angelia Green plays our vampire here, and for those of you who watched the scene-by-scene breakdown of Good Works, Angelia Green was also our demon character, and so she is the official Bloodscribe Creations creature actor. So if you see a creature in a Bloodscribe Creations property, 9 times out of 10, it's probably going to be Angelia Green, because she loves doing this stuff.
It's important, right? I take it that some of the others, if you've done this before, took off thinking that this was some kind of a joke. I don't think this is a joke.
We became acquainted online.
So we're going to be going back and forth quite a bit with these shots. So
Yep.
let's skip ahead a little bit. That's a different shot. And we fogged this room a few times, didn't we?
Yeah, we try to keep it as consistent as possible. But yeah, there's a lot of haze going on.
So explain what haze does for
Yeah.
cinematography.
Yeah, it adds atmosphere to your lighting, to your shots as a whole. It creates, like, whenever you see like the beams of light, especially like by a window, that's what haze does. And kind of like on a deeper dive, it also creates adds more separation from the foreground and the background, thus essentially making your shots look more 3D. Yeah, that's what haze does.
So there you go. Get a hazer.
That haze was done right here. I mean, you wouldn't really get this huge like effect of seeing the beam through the entire shot without haze.
And you can see that it also, like, the light sort of reflects off of the haze as well. So you get
Yep.
that very, like, what's the word I'm looking for? This very, like, soft almost glow to everything.
Yep.
You know, the reason why her hair here is glowing is also because of that haze.
Mm-hmm.
I read a lot growing up. At first,
Vic,
it's too easy of an answer. You could show it. Okay.
last night.
There we go.
Okay, so here's a different shot.
It would be unprofessional of me to neglect an applicant's references, of course. I spoke with Mr. Charlie Price, 517 Donvale Lane, just like.
So, all right, go ahead and talk about this. And I think I'm getting some echo from you.
Are you getting echo right now?
No, just when I talk or when the video's on.
Oh, okay.
But I think we're good.
Yeah. So what's happening here? She takes a drink of, we'll call it wine. So she takes a sip, comes back down, and boom. We're really like messing with Vince's character's like psyche right now. But yeah, we didn't do too much lighting wise here differently. I think we just we have this candle light here, and we just kind of motivated that a little bit more with I believe John came in with a quasar tube light, so like basically one of those, like a 2-foot, 4-foot fluorescent tube. I think it was LED though, so that was at least a little bit more modern as opposed to our tungsten and HMI units. But yeah, that was set to roughly the same color temperature of the flame, which usually fire is like 2400 Kelvin. So we just kind of motivated that a little bit more. You can see a little bit of it in like the glass, and then her fingers, just kind of adding a little bit more to it. Like you can even, if you look hard enough, you can see this glare on the glass itself. And
right. Yeah, there it is.
yeah.
And then there's
that was the window. And then, yeah, this tungsten, like warmer color, that was definitely the tube. But yeah,
and
I don't think that's going to take people out of the movie.
No. And this shot what this shot does is shows the audience that we are dealing with a creature now.
Yep.
that this is not a person that he's talking to. You know, first she appears out of nowhere. Then she magically conjures up a glass of wine as she's talking with his one friend, Charlie Price, I think is what the name was. She drinks it. And we also have very audible swallowing noises, just to sort of add to that unease. Mostly because personally, I can't stand swallowing noises.
Mhm.
So when I hear them, I'm just like, like I just cringe. I don't like it. But it's, you know, she's obviously trying to get a reaction out of him, you know, so she's going to probably swallow a little more audibly. And then fourth, we kind of see these talons that she grows.
Yep. Yeah, we should give well, I won't say it yet because there's another makeup gag that happens. I'll let you introduce that.
Oh yeah, it's fine.
He gave me everything I needed.
And then we also changed her voice, as you can hear in that line. And I'm still teetering on whether or not I should have changed her voice. Like once I changed it, that I should have kept the change. But because you know, some people could kind of be like, all right, why is her voice different here? Why is her voice different not here? And the reason for that is because like the more intense it gets, that's when her voice changes as she becomes more and more of a monster. Because, you know, in the Bloodscribe Creations universe, vampires are more like the vampires from Buffy the Vampire Slayer than they are from, say, Twilight, to use two popular vampire franchises. They definitely turn into creatures. They don't necessarily lose their souls and get replaced by some demon. That is, you know, what happens in Buffy. But they definitely, their voice and appearance definitely changes from their human appearance, especially after they drink blood and when they're really, you know, when they're really primed for the kill.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't. I mean, that isn't.
And I love Angelia is very, as an actor, she's obviously very self-critical.
But she's awesome.
She didn't like that laugh. I loved that laugh. And I loved, she nailed how,
her head back.
Yeah, she nailed how far forward she needed to go to remain silhouetted, but also just give that very hint. Like you can see her, you can see her mouth here, you can see the whites of her teeth, and you can see that there's something going on. Like it's just so creepy.
I know.
Like, it's very unsettling the way that her laugh sounds.
You didn't. I mean, that isn't.
Chills, goosebumps.
And Vince is really elevating it too.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, the way that they act off of each other was I couldn't have cast this better. I loved this cast.
Awesome.
If it was, is drinking about a deal breaker for you?
No.
A step too far.
I mean, that's part of the deal, isn't it? I drink blood, live forever, avoid the sunlight.
Yeah. So now if you can't, all right, we're getting that echo again.
I didn't say anything.
I know. Let me edit your mic settings. I'm going to reduce background noise on your mic. See if that does anything.
Hello.
Yeah, no, that works. So now if you weren't aware that he's in an interview to become a vampire, now you know.
Mm-hmm.
and that hopefully like raises the stakes a little bit, that like this guy is in a room with a creature that feeds on human blood.
Mm-hmm.
And he is interviewing to become this creature, and his decisions, what he says and does, could mean life or death.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's all real, right?
Oh yes, it most certainly is.
I mean, it's.
In order to ensure that, or would you refer
I'm sorry. That is disqualification.
your best life, whatever that means?
Okay, so we're okay. Whoops.
Yep.
That's all right.
Hi,
So there's well, we can talk about that effect. So
That was all you, man.
that was me. So I'll explain it. So what's happening here, you know, she's calling him out on breaking one of the rules. And I'll get into some, it's not obviously not controversy, but a different interpretation between the writer's intention of the script and what I actually put on screen. But she's calling him out here, and we're going to show some more powers that an old vampire has.
I was simply pointing out your lie.
So vampires, also in the Bloodscribe universe, have incredible speed, and to the human eye, it could look like that they could vanish within a blink. And so, in order to show that vanish, what did we do? So it's very simple. We took 2 identical shots. One of her sitting in that chair, and then so we locked the camera in position. She's sitting in the chair, and we did another take with her not sitting in the chair, and all I did was mask her out. I took it into Premiere is what I edited this in. Just did a mask around her and just replaced this, where I just replaced the footage with the background. And I keyed the opacity of the mask from 100 to 0 within a half a second, which is how you get this look.
I was simply pointing out your lie.
So if you just keyframe from for a half a second, that's
12 frames.
12 frames. Thank you. 12 frames of the mask to expand and contract. That's what it is. And then I also in Premiere added a little bit of a push in to also help with that illusion.
Simply pointing out your lie.
You love adding push-ins to my shots.
I do.
We don't have to do that for the next one.
No, we won't. I made sure of it.
And lies are not permitted during this process.
So that's the punishment for the lie that he told.
Yeah.
And in the script, it's supposed to be she takes one of those long talons and just very thinly slices his cheek, and it's just a real thin line, and we get a little trickle of blood.
Mm-hmm.
And I took creative liberties to ramp up that violence a little bit, and really make it so that Vic, the character, starts to fear for his life. Mm-hmm. That maybe he fucked up and now he's about to find out. And so that's why I wanted to give a little bit more of a wound to him for him to deal with. And the way that we did that shot was we did a few takes, but we started the shot. I got to be fast in my pause because I can't scrub in VLC. So sorry for this look, Vince. But anyway, the very first frame of this, she just has her hand covering his face, and she's just hovering like this. Mm-hmm. And we counted down 3, 2, 1, and they both did that.
Yep.
And we added the sound, and so he already has the makeup on his face. We added the sound in post, and
that is really what sells it.
And sped up the footage, just like I think I sped it up by like 3 or 4 frames. Sped that up to make them go a little bit faster, because those claws that she had on were pretty sharp. Mm-hmm. And if she might have actually scratched him if she was actually touching him.
Taking practical to a whole nother level.
Yeah. So.
And then she's already back at the chair.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And these effects look great. Again, Elizabeth DeFelice was the special effects makeup artist. So we had 2. We had Elizabeth DeFelice and Alana. I can't remember her last name.
Ouch.
I will. So I'll find it and I'll put it on the screen. so that it's corrected. But I forget off the top of my head. But they both did the special effects for this.
If you wish to continue the interview,
You want to talk about how
there are only one.
and when we did handheld?
Yes.
Yeah, so we also liked the idea of, me and DJ are on the same page when it comes to handheld. Really only doing handheld when there's a specific time or need for it. So it would make sense after he just gets his face chopped off. One, not only to probably go to a POV, because something big happened to him, we would kind of want to get more in his headspace, but two, to make it handheld, which adds a bit more tension, like tension and uneasiness. Like that's usually the whole idea of handheld. We both think handheld is probably used too much, but if you use it for specific moments, it can really add to the story.
Every tool has its use.
Yep.
And each, what you're trying to go for, the emotion that you're trying to elicit from the audience requires specific tools. And I think that handheld shots, they elicit a sense of unease, and that the character is not in control of what's going on around them. Mm-hmm. And so after this happens, Vic is completely, not that he was ever really in control, but up until this point, it was sort of a mutual back and forth of what's going on. And now he's in danger. And now he actually is experiencing fear for the first time, like for real, instead of like maybe a nervousness that he had, approaching this creature. Now he is afraid.
I'm not leaving. You can't scare me away.
As you wish.
I don't think you
projecting that he's not scared though.
Well, he has to.
Yeah.
But we can definitely tell that he is.
Yep.
And he's determined. He's a very determined person. He's willful. I want to catch that when she put her hand up. I want to catch that frame.
As you.
So you can't really see it, but her claws are still. Yep. So there we go. That's better. Yeah. So her claws are still there. That we wanted to show there, and this little flick of the wrist was pretty awesome.
At the end of our time. What?
So we also, I remember us talking on set too. We wanted to make over the shoulders, make the characters closer to each other as we progressed in this space to kind of add to the tension as well.
It really adds to the claustrophobia.
Yeah.
And to the smallness of the room that they're in.
Mm-hmm.
And by, her head taking up this whole shot, it really shows that.
Listen, this world is full of cattle, sheep, mindless idiots going about their pointless life.
Again,
mm-hmm.
same example. He's taken up most of this shot, but having a nice frame of the vampire here, really bringing in the closeness of what's going on. Because when you have a script that is very dialogue heavy, and it's very, what's being said and how it's being said is really more important than what you're actually seeing in a visual medium. How do you aid that?
Mm-hmm.
How do you aid what's being talked about and how it's being said? Well, this is how you do it. And so for those who are looking to make a horror film with two actors in one room and it's supposed to be high tension, this is it.
Yep.
Or not, this is not it, but this is a way that you can do that.
Yeah.
See this world, what it really is.
Another push in, you can see.
Digital
push in. Thank you, Mike Flanagan.
Every day. But
honestly, if it wasn't for Flanagan and what he did in Haunting of Hill House, this probably would have been edited differently.
Shackled
Or I would have figured it out because I'm such a genius.
This society. I'm not meant to be here. Not like this. I'm meant to be better. I'm meant to be elevated.
There you are. That was a response from
Doing the thing.
you. Thought I
All right, so.
human would have left that chair. I wish to find.
Uh,
I do not wish.
we did not do a second disappearing, but we did put in a sound effect.
And human would have left that chair. Anyone with a soul would have run far, far away.
And just cut to that to show. And so it's like you get that whoosh, she's gone.
I do not wish to create a monster. I wish to find one.
And here we get to see our very first.
Mhm.
There, I wanted to show these fangs. So yeah, so this is if you want to see what a vampire looks like in Bloodscribe Creations universe, this is what it is. And look how delicate she's about to feast. She's got her pinky up. She's a very distinguished vampire.
Classy vampire.
Very classy. Yeah. So this, again, makeup very good. The teeth are a little whiter than we didn't exactly get a color match on that, but you know, give me more money and I'll be able to get color matched fangs.
Needs fewer monsters.
So that
I love how this ending is cut together. It's great.
So I had to cut this together the way that I did was because like she couldn't bite him for a number of different reasons. So
There's
it's
something
like
about like not even seeing it though that adds to the tension.
Well, and and in order to, what we did was, you know, we did a little bit of a flash thing to again show like some speed that this actually happens. I love the look on Vince's face here, like he knows he's done.
I love how he's sweating, not probably because we had that hot light on him.
Because it was so hot in the room.
Yeah.
No. This was totally intentional. We sprayed him down with sweat. That's what we did.
Needs fewer monsters.
And out the candle goes.
Mhm. Was the other candle already out in that shot?
Yeah, but I just don't think we caught that, but it's okay.
Yeah.
Now you know. So that's what it takes, and that's how we did a shot for shot and short film like this, and cut it down to 13 minutes. I was going to make a director's cut, which was going to be a little bit longer because there were quite a few other elements in the script that didn't quite make it into the short, just because, you know, we had a time ceiling. It couldn't be any longer than 13 minutes. And I think we were including post credits. We had to really cut a lot down. There was supposed to be this sort of telepathic. There was supposed to be this telepathic element to what was going on between the conversation. And we did have Vince sort of try to act like, you know, as she's talking, she's sort of getting into his head. And so he's like trying to figure out, you know, what's happening in his head while they're having this conversation, because, you know, vampires do have telepathic abilities. Well, in some lore, which in Bloodscribe Creations lore, they do. And so she's using everything against him, or on him, I should say, just to see how he responds. I was going to make a director's cut, but then ultimately decided I'm actually very happy with what we had, and I don't want to put anything else out there that's a little bit different. You know, I like where this is, and I really like the product that we got. So thank you, Jack, and thank you for joining me on this project for our little breakdown. And I hope that I hope
But
this
it
helps.
finally worked out because didn't we like reschedule like 4 times?
Yes, you're a very busy man. And
Yeah.
so hopefully this helps people out for making their own short films, especially horror. If you have an idea, this is what you can do. Jack, what are you working on now? Let the people know.
I'm kind of in pre-production for a couple things, including the Hellgate. I'm really like in between projects currently, but I just wrapped on a feature in July. But just kind of getting prepped and ready for a few things currently. So we'll see what happens.
Okay, cool. Well, thanks again for coming on. Look out for the Hellgate because it's coming. And if you enjoyed this video, please. The gates of hell are coming. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and share it around to people that you think might enjoy this or get something out of it. Really helps out the channel. If you feel so inclined to give us a subscription, to click that little subscribe button, that also helps us out. We're closing in on 500 subscriptions as of the posting of this video, so hopefully this ages very well. Yep, that's right. So again, thanks a lot, Jack, for coming on, and thanks for everybody. Thanks for watching this, and we will see you next week.
Peace.